Telkom University,
a diverse institution. An institution that is continually conducting research and producing innovation for the national development. A campus that has a mission to contribute to the nation.
This is Telkom University, the best private university in Indonesia, founded with spirit to contribute to the nation.
Our dream to contribute to the nation was started in a 50 hectares campus area laid on Bumi Pasundan, West Java. A place for collaboration and innovation to become a research and entrepreneurial university that actively involves in ICT-based advancement of technology, science, and art. On this campus, students from Indonesia's 34 provinces and international students from countries around the world are enthusiastically participate on research and innovation. Telkom University is also known for its teaching, learning, and research excellence that support Telkom University to produce competent graduates who work globally in more than 30 countries. Moreover, Telkom University also has numerous partnership programs with industries that help students and graduates accelerate their careers.
As an excellent ICT-based campus that won SPADA Award, National Award on E-Learning Program, Telkom University continually innovates to adapt to the current challenging situation. With determination to create the solution of the national challenges,
Telkom University performs research and learning activities through its 7 schools and more than 40 study programs.
It leads to several innovations that support the science development. The innovations were supported by 5 research centers, 31 research groups, and startup incubation by Bandung Technopark. All of the research and innovation achievements have led to the status of Best University on Innovation Management Award, awarded by Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology. Besides research programs, Telkom University also manages several community service programs towards the real contribution to the nation. As a campus with the objective to contribute to the nation, Telkom University is the first campus that declares Kampus Merdeka, Merdeka Belajar, a policy of the Indonesian Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology. As the best private university according to UI Green Metric 2021, Telkom University has a commitment to always maintain the natural ecosystem in the campus area to be a sustainable campus. It also affects the learning environment where students and lecturers enjoy the comfortable atmosphere. We believe that all of Telkom University achievements, both national and global, could be acquired through the hard work and collaboration of all Telkom University stakeholders.
Telkom University berkomitmen menghasilkan lulusan yang berkualitas dan riset serta inovasi yang bermanfaat untuk kemajuan bangsa Indonesia. Telkom University contribute to the nation.
Together, contribute to the nation in Telkom University.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis adalah bagian dari Universitas Telkom yang dimulai sejak tahun 1990 sebagai fase pertama dengan nama MBA Bandung. Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis hadir untuk menjawab segenap tantangan yang muncul dari perkembangan teknologi digital dengan merumuskan konsep Education 4.0 yang akan menjawab tuntutan dari industri 4.0, mengeksploitasi teknologi digital, dan mendukung terciptanya collaborative learning serta lifelong learning. Saat ini, Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis memiliki 3 program studi, yaitu program studi S1 Manajemen Bisnis Telekomunikasi dan Informatika, yang kedua program studi S1 Akuntansi, dan yang ketiga adalah program studi S2 Magister Manajemen, yang semuanya telah memperoleh akreditasi A dari BAN PT, serta telah memperoleh akreditasi internasional. Visi dari Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis adalah menjadi Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis yang berstandar internasional pada tahun 2023 melalui penelitian dan pengembangan secara kreatif ekosistem kewirausahaan dalam bidang ekonomi dan bisnis berbasis digital. Sedangkan misi dari Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis adalah yang pertama, menyelenggarakan dan mengembangkan pendidikan di bidang ekonomi dan bisnis berbasis digital yang berstandar internasional. Yang kedua, melakukan kajian dan penelitian dalam rangka pengembangan dan penyebaran ilmu pengetahuan dalam bidang ekonomi dan bisnis yang berbasis digital kepada masyarakat. Yang ketiga, memanfaatkan ilmu pengetahuan dalam bidang ekonomi dan bisnis berbasis digital bagi pelayanan dan pemberdayaan masyarakat melalui kolaborasi yang kreatif dan inovatif antara akademisi, pemerintah, industri, media, dan komunitas. Melalui tahapan dari mulai exploiting international research excellence hingga membangun ekosistem kewirausahaan, maka di tahun 2023 Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis akan mengukuhkan diri sebagai Research and Entrepreneurial School of Economic and Business. Dengan tagline kami, Preparing the Digital Business Leaders, dengan tetap secara konsisten melaksanakan nilai-nilai FEB sekaligus Telkom Universiti, yaitu harmoni, excellence, dan integrity.
Lingkungan Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis menerapkan pembelajaran campuran atau blended learning yang memungkinkan mahasiswa belajar selain melalui kehadiran fisik, tetapi juga melalui konten dan petunjuk yang disampaikan secara daring dengan kendali mandiri terhadap waktu, tempat, urutan, maupun kecepatan belajar. Untuk pembelajaran daring, baik yang bersifat sinkronus maupun asinkronus, diselenggarakan dengan pemanfaatan LMS yang dinamakan CELOE atau Center of E-Learning and Open Education. Manajemen administrasi perkuliahan serta akademik sudah sepenuhnya menggunakan sistem akademik terintegrasi yang dinamakan IGRASIAS. Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis telah menjalin kerjasama dengan berbagai universitas di dunia. Di antaranya yang telah menjadi partner adalah Hussain University, University, dan Monash University. Kerjasama ini dilakukan untuk mendukung kegiatan akademik di FEB melalui program exchange, summer school, dan joint degree bagi mahasiswa. Sebagai perwujudan program internasionalisasi, FEB memiliki kelas internasional yang diikuti oleh mahasiswa asing yang berasal dari berbagai negara. Mahasiswa asing tersebut berasal dari Thailand, Malaysia, Sudan, Uzbekistan, Timor Leste, Korea, dan negara lainnya. Di lingkungan Telkom University, Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis termasuk ke dalam fakultas dengan jumlah peminat mahasiswa baru yang cukup tinggi. Namun, jumlah peminat yang tinggi ini juga selalu disesuaikan dengan kualitas intake, sehingga jumlah mahasiswa baru dapat dipertahankan sesuai dengan standar kualitas di FEB. Sampai dengan semester genap 2019-2020, jumlah mahasiswa aktif di Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis adalah sebesar 3.828 mahasiswa, dengan rincian prodi akuntansi sebanyak 1.292, program studi MBTI 2.322, dan program studi MM sebanyak 214 mahasiswa.
Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Telkom Universiti memiliki 110 dosen yang terbagi pada 3 prodi, akuntansi, MBTI, dan Magister Manajemen. Banyak dosen yang memiliki prestasi di tingkat nasional ataupun internasional, baik sebagai peneliti maupun sebagai pembicara. Fasilitas Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis ada 2 kampus yang kita miliki, di Geger Kalong untuk program Magister dan di Dayakolot untuk MBTI dan akuntansi. Seperti pada umumnya kampus, maka kita juga memiliki fasilitas ruang dosen, ruang kelas, ruang rapat, aula, baik di kampus Dayakolot maupun Geger Kalong. Sedangkan di kampus selatan, fasilitas yang tersedia adalah student lounge yang bisa dimanfaatkan mahasiswa dalam beraktivitas, berdiskusi, mengerjakan tugas, ataupun pekerjaan kelompok lainnya. Selain itu, kita juga memiliki ruang creativity space yang digunakan mahasiswa dalam mengekspresikan bakat atau kemampuan mereka. Di kampus selatan, kita juga memiliki GRID, Entrepreneur Hub, yaitu sebuah ekosistem pengembangan wirausahawan baru di lingkungan Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Telkom Universiti yang selaras dengan perkembangan teknologi informasi dan komunikasi. Mahasiswa kita termasuk aktif mengikuti lomba-lomba baik yang bersifat akademik maupun non-akademik, baik tingkat nasional maupun internasional. Menjadi narasumber pada kegiatan nasional seperti Digital Innovation Lounge dan Early Investor, juara 2 pada Paterna Entrepreneurship dan Startup Weekend Indonesia. Untuk kegiatan non-akademik, misal menjadi juara 1 pada Japan Sugiso 14 untuk kategori musik brand. Yang lainnya menjadi quarter finalis speech pada Asian English Olympics Broaden Your Horizon. Prestasi yang sudah diraih oleh Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis, diantaranya penganugerahan pelayanan terbaik 2019 oleh Kanwil DJP Jabar 1. Selain itu, dosen juga turut mendapatkan penghargaan di dunia internasional dengan memenangkan Award for Excellence dari Emerald Publishing UK di tahun 2019, anugerah Recognition of Outstanding Contribution di Maldives pada International Conference di Juli 2019, sedangkan Recognition of Outstanding Contribution di Penang, Malaysia pada Desember 2019. Terkait dengan pendanaan riset, kita juga mendapat dana dari pihak eksternal seperti Ristek Dikti, OJK Institute, dan Kemitraan Telkom.
Kelompok keahlian merupakan pengelompokan dosen berdasarkan peminatan dan keahlian dari dosen terkait bidang keilmuan. Di Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis terdapat 3 kelompok keahlian. Yang pertama, KK ICT Based Management atau IBM. Yang kedua, KK Strategi Entrepreneurship and Economics atau SEE. Dan yang ketiga, KK Finance and Accounting Studies atau FAS. KK IBM memiliki 2 sub-KK, yaitu sub-KK Marketing and Consumer Studies dan sub-KK Operation and ICT Management yang dibantu oleh 2 orang sekretaris dan bendahara. Member-member sub-KK MCS ada 12 orang. Member-member sub-KK OIM di bidang operation ada 7 orang. Member-member sub-KK OIM di ICT ada 11 orang.
Kelompok keahlian Strategi Entrepreneurship and Economics beranggotakan 33 orang dosen dan peneliti. KKSEE menaungi 4 sub kelompok keahlian. Pertama, kelompok keahlian Strategic Management and Decision Making. Kedua, sub kelompok keahlian Startup and Small Business Development. Ketiga, sub kelompok keahlian Economics and Policy Study. Keempat, sub kelompok keahlian Human Capital and Talent Development.
Kelompok keahlian Finance and Accounting Studies atau KKFAS memiliki 2 sub kelompok keahlian, yaitu Financial Market Studies dan Accounting Studies. Saat ini KKFAS memiliki 17 orang dosen pada sub KK Financial Market Studies dan 27 orang dosen pada sub KK Accounting Studies.
Mengikuti pendidikan S2 di MM, SCBTII Telkom Universiti merupakan salah satu milestone dalam kehidupan saya. Terus terang saya sangat terbantu dengan sistem pembelajaran jarak jauh yang diperkenalkan oleh FEB Telkom Universiti. Sistem ini sangat membantu saya karena memang saya berada jauh di luar kota, saya berada di Semarang, dan dengan mobilitas yang sangat tinggi. Sistem pembelajaran jarak jauh ini sekarang menjadi suatu keniscayaan yang dipakai oleh hampir semua perguruan tinggi dalam kondisi pandemi COVID-19. Tuntutan industri dan bisnis menuntut kematangan dalam pengetahuan, dan ini banyak saya dapatkan selama perkuliahan di FEB Telkom Universiti. Terima kasih atas semua ilmu yang diberikan kepada semua dosen-dosen yang sangat kompeten dan profesional di bidangnya.
Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Bella Putri. Saat ini saya bekerja di PT Garuda Indonesia dan sedang ditugaskan di salah satu anak perusahaan namanya Aeroglobe Indonesia. Nah, untuk pengalaman berharga selama saya berkuliah di Universitas Telkom atau Telkom Universiti, salah satunya adalah dosen-dosen di sana banyaknya juga dari praktisi ya, jadi banyak ilmu-ilmu yang bermanfaat saat di dunia kerja dan juga kesempatan saat mengikuti program-program di luar mata kuliah, misalnya seperti perwira mandiri dan sebagainya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Srinaita pada saat saya kuliah dulu, saya selalu cerita kepada dosen saya bahwa mimpi saya adalah menjadi seorang anggota DPR. Alhamdulillah sekarang sudah satu tingkat mimpi saya raih. Jadi sekarang saya anggota DPRD DKI Jakarta. Dan saya harap kedepannya para lulusan-lulusan yang sekarang namanya Universitas Telkom bisa melahirkan pimpin-pimpin di masa depan nanti.
Selamat bergabung dengan Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Telkom dan jadilah the next digital business leader. Diatism, harmony, excellent, integrity.
Assalamualaikum, Nak.
Waalaikumsalam, Bu. Namaku Manda. Umurku 19 tahun. Aku lagi bingung cari kampus dan jurusan yang cocok denganku. Valdi, dia teman kampus aku. Dan yang ini, dia kakak tingkatku waktu di SMA. Namanya Intan. Hari ini, aku diajak Intan bermain ke kampusnya. Ikutin perjalananku ya.
Nah, kalau yang tadi itu Ibu Dida, beliau salah satu favoritnya mahasiswa sinilah.
Oh alah, pantesan. Tadi aku sempat speechless pas lagi lihat beliau ngajar.
Tunggu di sini ya. Titip dia ya.
Oke.
Iya, gimana sih rasanya kuliah di sini?
Ya pastinya seru sih daripada masuk kita.
Deh, apaan sih?
Ada yang mau disuruh lagi?
Apa tuh?
Enggak, belum kasih tahu. Cek tahu aja sendiri.
Apaan sih?
Journal of Indonesian Economy and Business is an open-access, peer-reviewed journal whose objective is to publish original research papers on the Indonesian economy and business issues. This journal is also dedicated to disseminating the published articles freely to international academicians, researchers, practitioners, regulators, and public societies. The journal welcomes authors from any institutional background and accepts rigorous empirical or theoretical research papers with any methods or approach relevant to the Indonesian economy and business content, as long as the research fits one of three salient disciplines: economics, business, or accounting. In Volume 37, Number 2, 2022, Journal of Indonesian Economy and Business issued an article regarding the effect of financial compensation for farmland acquisition on household welfare of the Yogyakarta International Airport development. Land acquisition is a major issue in development policy, and compensation is often described as inadequate. The study found that the financial compensation for the farmland acquired for the new airport development increased a household's total annual income by 32.06%. The financial compensation also increased their total annual expenditures by 26.55%, especially those related to food, energy, transportation, internet, and social relationships.
GIEP initiated its internationalization journey in 1998 when GIEP started to publish full English articles for each issue and volume. Going through every milestone, GIEP has been indexed in various international journal indexation such as Scopus, EBSCOhost, EconLead, ProQuest, Google Scholar, DOAJ, Microsoft Academic Search, and ACI. Furthermore, this journal has been nationally accredited in Indonesia by the Ministry of Research and Technology for Higher Education in the top tier of the Indonesian Science and Technology Index, also known as Sintawan. Last but not least, we hope that GIEP will be the home for the global economy and business scholars to disseminate their rigorous and high-impact research. We look forward to welcoming your contribution in the near future.
Bapak, atasan bebek. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, and greetings to all of you. Good morning and best wishes to all of us. All praise be to God Almighty. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mediani Kris Eka Putri, and it is a wonderful and precious chance for me to be the host of Sustainable Collaboration in Business, Information, and Innovation, SCBTII 2022, Recover Together, Recover Stronger, Challenges and Opportunities Towards Sustainable Digital Economy. SCBTII is an international conference that brings together academics, professionals, entrepreneurs, researchers, learners, and other related groups from around the world who have special interests in theories, practices, as well as practices in the field of digital economy for global competitiveness. This conference provides opportunities for both the presenters and participants to exchange new ideas and experiences, also establish research relations, and find global partners for future collaboration in order to effectively respond to social and technological development challenges. Now, I would like to welcome our distinguished guests, Ibu Loto Srinaita Ginting, the Senior Advisor to Minister on Finance and SME Development, Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises of the Republic of Indonesia. Also, we have our invited speakers, Professor Hussain Rammal from the University of Adelaide, Australia. Also, Professor Hitoshi Mitomo from Waseda University, Japan. Associate Professor Dr. Cheng Ling from Universiti Sains Malaysia, Associate Professor Dr. Andry Alamsyah from Telkom University, Indonesia. Associate Professor Dr. Krisnadas Nanat from Middlesex University, Dubai. Welcome, welcome. Also, we have our invited guests, Regional Assistant for Economic and Development Affairs of West Java Provincial Government, Dr. Muhammad Taufik Budi Santoso. And we welcome Director of Telkom University, all Vice Rectors, all Directors, all Deans from Telkom University. Also, we have our co-host or University Partnership, the Dean of Faculty of Economy from Galuh University, Dr. Nurdiana Mulyatini, Vice Dean of Faculty of Economy, Garut University, Dr. Muslim Al-Kautsar, and last but not least, to all presenters and participants. Good morning. First thing first, I would like to remind you the rules of this conference. Kindly display your name as formatted below. For presenters, room _ paper ID _ author's name. Example, FAS1 _ 123 _ Yuhana Stuti. For other participants, institution name, institution _ name. For example, Telkom University _ Adi Prasetyo. Please use the SCBTII 2022 virtual background and kindly keep your camera on during the event. We notice that all sessions in the seminar and call for papers will be fully recorded. Participants' microphone will be muted. The participant can deliver questions by typing the questions in the chat feature in Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, we are good to go. And let us start this event by singing Indonesia National Anthem and March of Telkom University.
Indonesia bersatu. University, sinergi bangun negeri, maju dalam ilmu pengetahuan, satukan tekad bersama, padukan langkah, bawa bangsa menuju garis depan. Raih cita raju asa, sing-singkan lengan, tingkatkan inovasi, unggulan dan prestasi, semua demi keluhuran bangsa, masyarakat adil makmur sejahtera. Laksanakan pendidikan dengan semangat pengabdian, ciptakan kehidupan gemilang. Telkom Universiti, kebanggaan Pertiwi, maju dengan karya, berperan bagi bangsa, bagi Indonesia, bagi dunia. Telkom Universiti, sinergi bangun negeri, maju dalam ilmu pengetahuan, satukan tekad bersama, padukan langkah, bawa bangsa menuju garis depan. Raih cita raju asa, sing-singkan lengan, tingkatkan inovasi, unggulan berprestasi, semua demi keluhuran bangsa, masyarakat adil makmur sejahtera. Laksanakan pendidikan dengan semangat pengabdian, ciptakan kehidupan gemilang. Telkom Universiti, kebanggaan Pertiwi, maju dengan karya, berperan bagi bangsa, bagi Indonesia, bagi dunia.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now we would like to invite our chairwoman to give the opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ibu Yohana Stuti, PhD.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. All praises are to Allah, the Merciful, by whose grace and blessing have enabled us to gather here. On behalf of the organizing committee, allow me at the outset to bid all of you, whom I believe have made considerable efforts to attend this conference virtually, a perfect day and a warm welcome to all of you at the 13th Sustainable Collaboration in Business, Technology, Information, and Innovation, or SCBTII 2022 conference. I would like to express my highest gratitude to our honorable keynote speaker, Ibu Loto Srinaita Ginting, Senior Advisor of Finance and SME Development, Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises of the Republic of Indonesia, and her team. Thank you to Your Excellency, our invited speakers from 5 different countries in the first panel session, Professor Hussain Rammal from the University of Adelaide, Australia, Associate Professor Dr. Cheng Ling from University Sains Malaysia, and Associate Professor Dr. Andry Alamsyah from Telkom University, Indonesia. And in the second panel session, Professor Hitoshi Mitomo from Waseda University, Japan, Associate Professor Dr. Krisnadas Nanat from Middlesex University, Dubai, for the opportunity they give us to learn and gain insight from their expertise and experiences. High appreciation is presented to our invited guests, Bapak Dr. Muhammad Taufik Budi Santoso, Regional Assistant for Economic and Development Affairs of West Java Provincial Government, Rector of Telkom University, Bapak Profesor Adi Wijaya, the Vice Rector for Academic, Bapak Dr. Dadan Rahadian, the Vice Rector for Resources, Dr. Henry Kristiadi, The Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, and Collaboration, Ibu Dr. Rina Puji Astuti. Dean School of Economics and Business, Ibu Dr. Rati Wahyuning Tias and her Vice Deans. Dean School of Computing, Bapak Dr. Abdurrahman Baizal. Dean School of Engineering, Bapak Dr. Bambang Setia Nugroho. Dean School of Communication and Business, Ibu Ade Irma Susanti PhD. Vice Dean for Academic of School of Communication and Business, Ibu Rahutami Nugrahani PhD. And our co-host or university partnership, Ibu Dr. Nurdiana Mulyatini, as Dean of Faculty of Economy from Galuh University, Bapak Dr. Muslim Al-Kautsar, at Vice Dean of Faculty of Economy from Garut University. And also, let me convey my sincere thanks and high appreciation to respected all guests, presenters, and participants of SCBTII 2022. Thank you very much for your being here with us. We value your presence today. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, we are holding SCBTII conference in virtual format again this year with the theme of Recover Together, Recover Stronger, Challenges and Opportunities Toward Sustainable Digital Economy. We provide opportunities for both the presenters and participants to exchange new ideas and experiences, establish research relations, and find global partner for future collaboration to respond to social and technological development challenges effectively. For brief information, let me share a few data related to the article submission. We received submission totally 156 abstracts from 10 universities. This is the highest number of submissions when compared to the previous event. Around 147 articles proceed to the presentation stage today, divided into 19 parallel session breakout rooms. About 88% of abstracts come from outside of Telkom University. The articles are categorized into 3 tracks: Finance and Accounting Studies, ICT-based Management, and Strategic Human Entrepreneur and Economics. The number of article submission for each track is 61 articles for Finance and Accounting Studies, 45 articles for ICT-based Management, and 41 articles for Strategy, Human Entrepreneur, and Economics. Those articles after the conference will be published in the SCBTII proceeding book, and selected article will be recommended to our journal partner for further review. As a closing remarks, I thank all SCBTII 2022 committees. As the committee chair, I would not be able to speak here in front of all of you today, if not because of the amazing team who have been with me since the very beginning. We couldn't have pulled this event off without your vulnerable contribution. And this conference result also from several parties' hard work, support, and dedication. I wish to thank all reviewers, session chair, student, MC, moderator, and anyone I cannot mention. You all together make the conference possible. Last but not least, I thank our university and journal partner for their support and partnership. Once again, thank you to all respected presenter and all the participants of SCBTII 2022. I hope you can have insightful learning, wonderful experiences, and memories from SCBTII 2022 today. Enjoy the conference and please participate again in SCBTII next year. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Yuhana Stuti PhD, for the impressive report. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to apologize on the rector's behalf that due to the inevitable duty in Malaysia, he could not attend the conference, but he has prepared the opening speech in tape recording. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Adi Wijaya.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Keynote Speakers, Bapak Erick Thohir, Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, Republic of Indonesia. Distinguished Speaker, Professor Hussain Rammal from University of Adelaide, Australia. Professor Hitoshi Mitomo from Waseda University, Japan. Associate Professor Dr. Cheng Ling from Universiti Sains, Malaysia. Associate Professor Dr. Krisnadas Nanat from Middlesex University, Dubai. Associate Professor Dr. Andry Alamsyah from Telkom University. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, everyone. First of all, let us praise and gratitude to the Almighty God. Because of His blessing, we can attend this event in healthy condition. I am very pleased to be able to welcome all guests in the 13th International Conference on Sustainable Collaboration in Business, Technology, Information, and Innovation, SCBTII 2022. I am very grateful for having a chance to be a part of this conference. I also would like to thank Garut University and Galuh University. Because of their cooperation, we can make this conference successful. Also, I feel proud to announce that this conference is attended by 5 countries, Australia, Japan, Malaysia, and the United Kingdom, including 10 universities from Indonesia. SCBTII 2022 held by Faculty of Economic and Business, Telkom University. This year is the second time we have held SCBTII in the virtual format due to the pandemic after we successfully held this first virtual conference in 2020. The number of authors who submit their papers to SCBTII is around 157 authors. All of them can proceed to the presentation stage, so it is hoped that the quality of the papers published from SCBTII 2022 will be better than last year's SCBTII. SCBTII 2022 carries the theme of Recover Together, Recover Stronger, Challenge and Opportunities Toward Sustainable Digital Economy. The SCBTII has been recognized as the perfect conference for both scholars and practitioners to share their knowledge, scientific discussion, and learn from each other. Hopefully, this conference can give a significant impact on the near and long-term modern research development and can be beneficial not only for Telkom University and Indonesia, but also for the world. Please enjoy the conference, stay safe and keep healthy. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor Adiwijaya, for opening the conference. Now, due to the inevitable circumstances, Your Excellency Bapak Erick Thohir could not attend our conference. Thus, we would like to invite Ibu Loto Srinaita Ginting, the Senior Advisor to Minister on Finance and SME Development, Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises of the Republic of Indonesia, to give the keynote speech. But first, I will introduce our keynote speaker. Ibu Loto Srinaita Ginting was born in Medan. She obtained her Bachelor in Economics from University of Indonesia in 1992. She finished her Master in Economics from University of New South Wales, Sydney, Australia in 2000. She joined Ministry of Finance since 1993, and she had experience working for Monetary and Financial Analysis Agency until 2001, Secretariat General until 2004, Director General of Treasury until 2006, and Director General of Financing and Risk Management until 2020. Currently, she has new assignment at the Ministry of State-Owned Enterprise as the Senior Advisor to Minister on Finance and SME Development. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Ibu Loto Srinaita Ginting.
Good morning, distinguished speakers and all participants. Thank you for attending 2022 Sustainable Collaboration in Business, Technology, Information, and Innovation Conference. As mentioned, we also hope this event will be a great opportunity for all of us to exchange new ideas and experiences, build research relationships, and meet global partners for future collaboration in order to successfully and effectively respond to social and technological development challenges. Next, I will share our initiative to strengthen micro, small, and medium enterprises development in the digital economy. Yeah, let's begin with the first slide here that show us Indonesia become the largest digital economy in Southeast Asia in terms of the gross merchandise volume since 2019 and even projected until 2025. In 2021, the value of Indonesia digital economy will be recorded at 70 billion, which is exceeding the peer countries like Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. In 2025, Indonesia economic value will reach 146 billion. The magnitude of Indonesian position here is supported by the size of Indonesia population reaching 274 million people. So it will be generating big digital transaction in the future. Now, this slide, in contrast, we may compare that even though we within in the Southeast countries is the larger GMV, But in terms of the share of digital economy itself, only stood at around 4% for Indonesia, even projected 2030 by 18%. However, if we compare in 2021 data, the digital economy of the global already stood at around 15 to 5%. Hence, the digital economy in the future, I hope will bring some opportunity because our digital economy right now still at low level and will be larger in the future and will create new business in the future, cost efficiency, and larger digital transaction. Next, here we also present the structure of the micro, small, medium enterprises. Here we see that the business player in Indonesia mostly dominated by micro, small, medium enterprises that accounts around 64.2 million or 99.99%. That's why the micro, small, medium enterprises support Indonesian economy significantly. It can absorb 97% of labor and contribute 60% to GDP. However, you may see that the micro level, the micro enterprise level, stood at the larger portion. It is around 98.6% or around 63 or 63.3 million. So by this figure, we may still that the micro, small, medium enterprises will still face many challenges in the future, such as lack of digital literacy or digital adoption. Here we presented at least 6 challenges, the problem faced by micro, small, medium enterprises that ranging from capital, limited business capacity, insufficient legal status, limited distribution and marketing, insufficient governance and administration, and lack of technology literacy. Based on this fact, that we find Indonesia has so many micro, small, medium enterprises. So we hope that all the stakeholders should have collaboration, because in the slide we see that maybe on one of the problem cannot be solved only by one parties, but because of the collaboration, we can support all the problem facing by micro, small, medium enterprises. Next. Now we also present the background why we support small, medium, and micro, small, medium enterprises development. Here we share the state-owned enterprises roles, that we have 2 roles right now. The first is as value creator, and the second as agent of development. As value creator, state-owned enterprises are expected to pursue profit and contribute to the national economy in general, and the state revenue in particular. Meanwhile, as an agent development for nation, Indonesia state-owned enterprises also are expected to support community welfare and become pioneering agent. Hence, there is a big expectation that SOE's business growth may have significant impact as well as to the society, including micro, small, medium enterprises. Here we present at least 4 initiatives from state-owned enterprises to strengthen micro, small, medium enterprises development. Those are how we upgrade the capacity of the micro, small, medium enterprises since they have lack capacity. So we provide capacity building to this group, especially in the micro level or ultra micro. Hopefully, by building capacity that taken by SOEs, they can graduate to higher level. And the second, we provide financing scheme and guarantee scheme. The third, we also become as off-taker or standby buyer for micro, small, medium enterprises product based on partnership contract. And the fourth is how we widen marketing and distribution expansion. Here we start with 2 initiatives. That the first one is we will explain further about link UMKM that link to the first initiative, how we provide the platform to upgrade the micro level of market players in Indonesia to graduate to the higher level. So from micro, hopefully through the building capacity through link UMKM, they can be expected to promote to higher level from micro to small or from small to medium, or from traditional to modern, or from modern to export. And as for our information, Link UMKM is a digital empowerment platform that aims to improve the Indonesian micro, small, medium enterprises capability through an integrated program. Through this platform, MSMEs will get a variety of coaching and training to increase their class and business capacity. Previously, the micro, small, medium enterprises class would be made first through the assessment, self-assessment. They have to do self-assessment process. And by the system, they will find what kind of the capacity building or training should be they take so that they can improve the capacity. And then after maybe several period like 6 months, they can do another self-assessment to check whether the capacity of themselves already improved or not yet. And Link UMKM also can be accessed by web and mobile apps, where the Link UMKM right now is loaded with various features such as 281 training modules, and the micro, small, medium enterprise product product display or storefront. So far, at least 1.9 million micro, small, medium enterprises have utilized the link UMKM, which most frequently access module on improving market access, export preparation, and determining the search for market access. And also they can build like network within the small, medium enterprises. And the second initiative, we also presented about the Pasar Digital UMKM or PADI UMKM. In 2020, Ministry of State-owned Enterprise with some SOEs developed PADI UMKM platform that ultimately to widen market access of MSS, micro and small medium enterprises to SOEs. This platform allows the small medium enterprises meet SOEs buyer group and retail buyer. The platform also offers series of product at PADI UMKM, because in this platform we provide B2B transaction and retail transaction. Under this platform, we also provide invoice financing and logistics support, and still open to connect with other platforms that make this ecosystem we become one-stop solution for mediums or MSMEs. And for Ministry of SOEs, through Control Tower, we also can monitor the progress of SOEs purchases to these small medium enterprises. However, even we find there is improvement or good transaction, there is still challenges in this PADI UMKM, like we find that mostly of the micro or small medium enterprises prefer purchase order compared to invoice financing. So we should encourage to the financing institution that they also ready or develop a kind of purchase order financing that more relevant with the ecosystem of small enterprises. And we also find some group buyer is not active, and some of seller also not get order from state-owned enterprises. And we find also that some of micro, small, medium enterprises still offer the product for individual rather than for enterprises. So that we try to solve them by doing business matching for small, medium enterprises, and also provide a kind of product or the purchasing plan of SOEs, so that they can be ready with the potential purchase from the SOEs. So far, we find that product like souvenir and catering already growing from the micro and small enterprises. And here we also show you that in terms of the growth of GMV quite significantly, we have data at the end of 2001 and June 2022. So if we compare the growth already 89.5%. From 9.5 trillion to 18 trillion already. And we also already involved more than 2001 micro, small, medium enterprises. And we also already involved the buyer group from SOE around more than 5,000, and we also already reached all the region in Indonesia so far. Even though the challenge, the concentration of transaction still dominated at Java, as you may see in this presentation. Hopefully, through this information, you may see that we facing the improvement in terms of how we provide alternative solution to the micro, small, medium enterprises. However, it cannot be solved by maybe short period, because as we already see, they have or they facing so many challenges or problem. So that I invite you, all of us also, we can go together, we can work together to find out any potential solution or improve any platform that maybe can contribute to solve the micro, small, medium enterprises in Indonesia. Since as I also mentioned previously, the role of small, medium enterprises is very important for Indonesia. So hopefully through this presentation, we can maybe share any particular feedback or any suggestion or advice how to improve micro, small, medium enterprises performance through the utilizing of digital platform. So in conclusion, as closing, let me share one quote from Dalai Lama. Whenever there is a challenge, there is also an opportunity to face it, to demonstrate and develop our will and determination. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ibu Loto Srinaita Ginting. I would say that that is an inspirational speech. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, let us have a photo session first. You may turn on or activate your camera, and please use the provided virtual background. And please give us your big, bright smile. I will give you the cue. Slide 1. 1, 2, 3. Slide 2. 1, 2, 3. Slide 3. 1, 2, 3. Slide 4. 1, 2, 3. And slide 5. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, due to the high amount of slides, I will not show all of them, but rest assured that all of your pictures have been taken and I can see all of your enthusiasm. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, our next session is the presentation from the invited speakers, the moment that we've waiting for. However, before we start, I will introduce our lovely moderator, Ibu Happy Milanyani, PhD, for today's panel session. Ibu Happy Milanyani is an assistant professor at the School of Economics and Business, Telkom University, where she joined since 2010, after years of working in the industry. Other than as a lecturer and researcher, she is currently serving as the marketing manager for Bandung Technopark, a science and technology park in Telkom University. She received her doctoral degree from the Nottingham University Business School, the University of Nottingham, United Kingdom, in 2021. Currently, she is actively teaching, researching, and conducting some community services in the field of marketing management, tourism marketing, digital marketing, and consumer behavior. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Ibu Happy Milanyani, PhD.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Good morning, everyone. Right now, we have reached the panel discussion of the invited speaker sessions. Please be aware that for this conference, we are going to have 5 remarkable speakers divided in 2 sessions. The first session of the panel discussion will be featuring 3 remarkable speakers. The first one is Professor Hussain Rammal from the University of Adelaide, Australia. The second one is Dr. Cheng Ling from Universiti Sains, Malaysia. And then the third one is Dr. Andry Alamsyah from Telkom Universiti, Indonesia. Meanwhile, the alternate session will be featuring 2 more remarkable speakers. The first one is Professor Hitoshi Mitomo from Waseda University, Japan. And the second one is Dr. Krisnadas Nanat from Middlesex University, Dubai. All right, before we hear the first presentation, let me read the CV of our first speaker. Professor Hussain Rammal is a professor of international business at the Adelaide Business School, the University of Adelaide. He is the founding editor of the Emerging Issues in International Business and Global Strategy book series, co-editor-in-chief of Review of International Business and Strategy Journal, and the Real Impact Editor, or Oceania, for the Journal of Knowledge Management. He is a fellow of the Financial Services Institute of Australasia, or FINSIA, and the Institute of Managers and Leaders Australia. Prior to joining the University of Adelaide, Professor Hussain was a faculty member at the University of Technology, Sydney, and the University of South Australia. Hussain's current research interests include the internationalization of service firms, trade in services, the transfer of knowledge across the inter and intra-M&E networks, and international business negotiations. Wow, that was a very inspiring CV, Professor. Okay, we will hear Professor Hussain presentation shortly. However, I would like to remind again to the participants to write the questions in the chat box. Selected questions will be discussed after all presentations. And the committee has prepared some reward for those selected questions. So please write your question in the chat box. All right, Professor, you may begin your presentation after your short video profile. Hello, good morning, Professor.
Good
How are
morning.
you?
Thank you so much. I'm very well. Thank you very much for the introduction. Much appreciated. And thank you for the invitation as well. Would you like me to share the screen?
Yes, please, if you prefer to do it.
Yeah, I hope it works, but yeah, let's give it a try.
Yeah, it's
Hopefully
been shown on the screen right now. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. So I'll make a start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, everyone. This is indeed a very topical issue, and also one that is something we need to discuss in much detail. I, of course, come from an international business background, so much of what I will be saying is growing in the post-pandemic era, but working beyond national boundaries. And I'm very grateful for the keynote presentation this morning, because the things the keynote presentation provided is the direction that we actually have to go, especially with the role of the government. So whereas I will be bringing in the business aspect, I think there's an important role for stakeholders like governments to come in. So let me talk a bit about where I see the changes coming in. The pandemic has actually brought the issue of connectivity and digitization to the forefront. Where we will be making a mistake is to look only at it from 2020, because the pre-pandemic era is one where these issues had already started. And these are not separate from what's going on a daily basis. So let me give you an example of why this is so important for us. If you go back to the 1980s, the big challenge was that globalization is taking jobs away. Big multinationals are moving from countries where the wages are high to countries where the wages are low. So a prime example would be an organization like Nike. Nike doesn't own any manufacturing plants. It always outsources. But in the 1980s and 90s, it decided to move out of the United States into other places: Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, South Korea. The trend with Nike was that if the cost of labor would go up, they would move again. So for example, they were in Korea, but then they moved out of Korea to go into places like Vietnam, where the cost of production was low. And they were criticized because the work environment or the manufacturing plants did not comply with all the work and safety regulations that you had in the United States or the developed countries. And there was also pressure that jobs in the United States and developed countries were being lost, and there was downward pressure on wages. Now, fast forward, just before the pandemic, there was already a solution for companies like Nike. And if any of you go to the Nike shops or shops like Nike, you will find that solution already there. Nike has gone into automation. It uses a technology where it's 3D printing that makes the top part of the shoes. You don't need humans for it. You don't need to pay wages for it. And you don't need to hop from one country to another for it. So you already have those challenges of what happens to the manual labor. The pandemic has just made that process a bit faster. So I'm going to talk a bit about the positives, what globalization has done, especially during the pandemic, the negatives of it, and where I see the opportunity for recovery. So the positives we have are very clear. The solution we found in terms of the vaccination, the vaccine would not have been possible had there not been globalization. Now, the problem is people will also say we wouldn't have had a global problem had it not been for globalization, because it may have been an endemic limited to a country rather than a pandemic. The movement of people made this into a pandemic. But I think if we look back into the history of humans, we've never had such a quick response to a pandemic to find a solution so quickly. While we still live in a disrupted world, if we go back to 2020, when the number of deaths because of COVID and compare it today, there's a huge difference. So the vaccine has certainly helped, and that's partly because of data sharing, that knowledge that we have. And the digital economy has allowed us to survive because we've been able to follow instructions, things like lockdown. Lockdown can only work when there is still capacity for humans to continue doing certain things. This conference is a prime example. The sharing of knowledge is critical to our development in the future. And if we did not have this technology and digitization, we would be going backwards. So there is certainly a lot of positives that come out of it. There is, of course, a lot of negatives as well. And those negatives are something we have to address as researchers, as practitioners, and as policymakers. One of the biggest challenges we are facing, and again, this started pre-pandemic, issues like increased nationalism. Instead of seeing the world as one connected marketplace, we're seeing the world as regions or as countries. We saw that with America starting in 2016 with the slogan of Make America Great Again. We saw that at the start of 2016 when the United Kingdom decided to pull out of Britain from European Union, Brexit. And we're seeing it again this year with the events taking place between Russia and Ukraine. Countries are now saying we have to be focused on our internal, becoming very inward-looking, which is going into reverse. It is not going to help future movement. We're also seeing a widening gap between rich and poor. And this comes back to that point about Nike. If unskilled or semi-skilled workers are going to lose their jobs due to automation, what's the future for them? What can we do to ensure that they're not left behind? And job losses are the main issue that we need to address. So if we go beyond the academic literature, because a lot of what I'm saying may sound like it's a theoretical, philosophical discussion, it's a very practical issue that we need to look at. Straight away, we saw these sort of things coming up. Is globalization going to be dead because of COVID-19? Are we just going to see people go inwards and just say, going to go to the local shops? And if you look at what Forbes was arguing, it was already arguing that globalization was under pressure before the pandemic. But how have we responded? And this is where I think looking back and reflecting on the keynote speech we had just now is very important. Because the biggest fear people had was that as the pandemic hits and digitization takes place or becomes more rapid, are the countries ready for it? And if you look on your screen, what we see here is data from different parts of the world. So if you look at Asia Pacific, what it's saying is that the speed at which digitization took place in 2020 was accelerated by what it would have normally taken 4 years to get to. So taking the trend from 2017 to 2019 and the growth you saw in Asia Pacific from 22 to 32%, that rapid increase to 53% would have normally taken 4 years, but it was done in 1 year. What it tells us is that there is more acceptance of digitization. And there's an ability for businesses to move rapidly in that direction too. And again, it's no surprise that much of Asia Pacific's boom is coming from countries like Indonesia. Again, if I can reflect on the keynote discussion, that's exactly what was being mentioned. Indonesia is leading that digitization. And every time I've visited Indonesia, I've been impressed by especially the youth in terms of their ability to adapt and thrive on technology and digitization. So it's a good trend there. The other area we need to look at is the acceleration that's taking place. The shares of products that are available, what we're seeing in Asia Pacific is it has now gone beyond Europe. And that acceleration has been very rapid. What we would have expected would have taken more than 10 years has been done in 1 year. So it's both consumers and organizations, their ability to adapt and also offer digital services. And this is where the growth is coming in. And this is what sustained us during the pandemic. This is what has made all those predictions by the United Nations saying that about 40, 50, 60% of the world's employment would be lost. It wasn't lost because we found an alternative with the digital economy. And a clearer picture comes here. This is all expectations versus reality. So the expectations was that it would take 454 days if we had to move towards remote working and collaboration. In reality, it took 10.5 days. What it tells us is that we had already advanced more than we thought we did. So as a global economy, we had the infrastructure in place. We just weren't ready to actually use it. So this has changed much of what we need to do. As I said, the other pandemic positive from a globalization perspective has been the fact that we tried to tackle inequality, especially when it came to the vaccine. Yes, it took a lot of investment, and that investment had to come from developed economies. It had to come from places like Britain. It had to come from places like the United States. But we also saw a lot of that development take place in emerging economies, places like China coming up with their own vaccination, places like India, and many other countries were attempting to meet the global demands. And this is where we saw a bit of world unity. Countries that couldn't afford to pay for vaccination, and people in those countries couldn't afford to buy the vaccination, the richer countries tried to bridge that gap by providing free medication. China did that in many parts of Asia. Australia did that in the Pacific Islands. And Europe did that towards the Eastern Europe areas and Africa as well. So we saw a global trend towards it. Pardon me. But all of us, regardless of where we were, we experienced something that made us question why wasn't this being produced at home. So all of us went through the phase where there were shortages, be it in supermarkets, be it in electronic goods. We faced global shortages. And that's partly because of the fact that much of our global products, the supply chain is interlinked. If one country shuts down, the rest of the world is affected by it. The crisis we face now include things like energy, but we also have things like the global car manufacturing sector. If you're in a country like Australia and if you want to buy a brand new car, it can take you anywhere between 6 months to 2 years to get a new car, because the global supply of cars has been affected. We have a global manufacturing integrated system, so parts availability are reliant on every country functioning perfectly. Lockdowns means all of that is stopped. And that brings the question where people are saying, why are we so connected? So the negative voices we hear are people saying, why don't we make this at home? Okay? And it may make sense in countries like Indonesia that has a large population. But when you get smaller countries like Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, or Scandinavian countries, it doesn't make much sense. But that is where the push is coming. So what we are seeing now is that focus on nationalization, build at home. So that's the other trend that we're seeing because of the pandemic. Now, coming to the biggest issue that we hear about, we talk about, and this is something that is going to dominate discussions for the next 5 years. That's the use of technology and job losses, the human side of technology use. The International Monetary Fund, in their own research, has said that you have to keep a rein on technology. Automation has to be controlled, because if you don't, there'll be a widening gap between those who are rich and those who are poor. The key to it is education. There is no doubt about it. Education remains the key. But education is not affordable for everyone. And education needs to be thought beyond what we traditionally may assume in university sector to mean an undergraduate or postgraduate degree. It's a lifelong learning, because the knowledge we may gain today will not necessarily be relevant tomorrow. So where does the IMF think automation is going to create problems? Well, the biggest issue or challenge we're going to face is in all the sectors, but if I can bring your attention especially to the agriculture sector. The agriculture sector historically has been a main sector for employment. Farmers, families of farmers from one generation to another have been doing this. Suddenly, we are looking at automation in the agricultural sector. Machines will be plowing the ground, machines will be putting the seeds in there, machines will be harvesting the crop. Machines will be filling up the trucks. We're talking about driverless cars, driverless trucks in the future. Where are all those humans that were part of that supply chain going to go and work? There's not much there. So you can see many sectors where the human touch is important. In the health sector, for example, we can see an increase in human capacity, the human need for it. But as we go into the less human interaction parts, manufacture, industrial sector, the human interaction will reduce and we'll see more of the automation. The result of that, we're already looking at job losses. We're looking at 73 million losses for jobs by 2030 just in the United States, 236 million in China, 120 in India. These are the jobs predicted to be lost. And as technology growth, as you can see from pre-COVID, as you can see, right up to 2016, job losses were already high because of automation. And the PwC research is showing that we're probably now heading in the wave 2. And this is where education will be the key. So the high-tech jobs will be less affected in the next 10 years. But the traditional medium education jobs will be challenged. The traditional accounting degree needs to be rethought of, because that's one of the jobs that the World Economic Forum believes will not exist by 2025. It'll be automated. So what does an accountant need to do? An accountant now needs to start thinking in terms of being a consultant, a strategist. So how can we address this issue? A few things we can do. Instead of focusing just on the negatives, we have a great opportunity. That connectivity, we need to enhance that more. As the university sector, we need to get more into providing education that is for jobs that have not even been created yet, a very future-oriented education system. Collaboration between countries can't work in isolation, and we've seen that with the pandemic. And how do we get knowledge sharing taking place in the virtual office era? This conference is a great example. Knowledge sharing in a virtual space. We would have expected this normally to occur face-to-face, but in a virtual space, are we finding ways to enhance knowledge sharing? And that is the reality. In the developed world, most people are not keen to go back to the traditional office. Okay? So if I can show just a couple of slides where the trends are. Accelerated digital government. Governments are going digital, as the keynote address showed us. The government needs to ensure people are ready to go towards it. The workplace is becoming digital. How does an organization create a culture where everything is digital? Where's the human interaction? The digital worker is coming in. And while we may think of digital worker being someone who works in the IT sector, organizations like IBM are already saying, no, these are automated workers. Companies will use them because there's no wages to pay. These are the challenges. And in the global trend, what we're seeing is a backward move. Digitalization went up, and now we're seeing this phase that post-pandemic, people are going back to the shops. They don't want everything digital. People want to get out and face these things in a traditional form. Worldwide, globally, we are already seeing countries now signing digital agreements rather than just trade agreements. So the trend is already moving towards it. We have to enhance it. And to do that, we have to be, as academics, some framework to work through. And I think the stakeholder engagement focus should be the way forward. Digital transformation at the heart of it, but we need to have consumers as part of it. We need to have governments as part of it to make sure that there's less protectionism. We need organizations to be on board to understand how best to serve consumers, and doing so in a way that we look after the interests of workers and other stakeholders. Be kind to the environment, do things in a sustainable manner. Make sure that the workers are being prepared for this phase of automation so they can upskill and move into positions where they'll be able to continue to perform certain tasks. And this means working with other stakeholders like the university sector to ensure that they're being trained either on the job or being trained in some sort of forum so they can remain relevant and we don't push people downwards back to the poverty scale. So these are some thoughts I had about where I see the future and where we can collaborate and work together. And I think thinking beyond just a theoretical approach, but bringing in all the stakeholders is where we can make a contribution. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. That was a very insightful presentation. So insightful that some participants might want the file. So the committee has asked me if it's possible to share the file later, Professor. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So yes, I too agree that the pandemic has brought some positive thing, and I also agree that some of us are reluctant to go to work to the office, and they have been very comfortable working at home, right, Professor? Okay, so let me give some conclusion from your presentation. Firstly, you said that the pandemic has brought some positive and negative effects, right? For example, the rise of digital economy and the widening gap between the rich and the poor, and then the pandemic has made the automatization develop faster, but then it needs to be controlled since it will lead to job loss. Therefore, you also said that education plays a very important role. And then the speed of digitization is rapidly increasing during the pandemic. Okay, I hope it's not a wrong conclusion, Professor. So
Absolutely.
I can see that some participants have already written some question in the chat box. However, we cannot address the question right now. We will discuss the question after all presentation. All right, so Professor Hussain, Rammal, thank you very much for the presentation. All right, now it's time for the second presentation. Okay, I'm going to read the CV of the second speaker. She is Dr. Tan Cheng Ling. Dr. Tan Cheng Ling is an associate professor in the Graduate School of Business at Universiti Sains, Malaysia. She has been appointed as a visiting professor at Daffodil International University and adjunct associate professor at Multimedia University, Malaysia. She is also sitting on the board of the Human Research Ethics Committee of USM. She lectures on operations and service management core subject at the MBA level and applied business research, quantitative and qualitative method as the fundamental course at PhD level. She supervises MBA, DBA, and PhD students in the field of her expertise. Her current research interests are accelerated innovation, supply chain management, knowledge management, lean management, and operations and service management. She has been the principal investigator for various grants at the university, national, and industry levels. She serves several international journals as the associate editor and reviewer. Along with that, she has been invited as the external examiner for PhD and DBA thesis at national and international level. Dr. Tan has published more than 100 articles in academic journals. Before joining academia in 2009, Dr. Tan spent many years in the industries, holding various executive and managerial positions. Wow, that was a very impressive CV, Dr. Tan. We will hear Dr. Tan's presentation shortly. However, I would like to remind the participants to write the questions in the chat box again. And don't forget that selected question will be given some reward. All right, Dr. Tan, you may begin your presentations after your short video profile. Hello, Dr. Tan. How are you?
Hi, Miss Happy.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to show my screen. Can you see that?
Oh yes, yes. We can see your screen, your slide clearly now. Would you like to start now?
Yes, yes. Of
Okay.
course.
Okay.
Right, thanks.
All right.
Good morning, distinguished conference chair, keynote speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure and honor to be here on the SCBTII 2022 conference hosted by Faculty Economy and Business in Telkom University. Let me express my most sincere thanks to the organizing committee to inviting me to deliver speech in this grand occasion. So in line with this conference theme, Recover Together, Recover Stronger, Challenges and Opportunity towards Sustainability. digital economy, I would like to share my thoughts in some of the important sectors, which is very less discussed among business and management scholars, all right, when we link back to the digital economy. All right, agriculture is widely recognized as critical to achieve sustainable development goal. I guess everyone knows it, all right? But researchers, policymakers, and practitioners has often conflicting yet poorly documented priority on how agriculture should support in achieving this sustainable development goal. All right, and also the United Nations pointed out that the demand for food is continuously growing with the growing of the world populations. So by 2050, we will need to produce 70% more food. Meanwhile, agriculture share the global GDP has shrunk to just 3%, which means that 1/3 is contributions just decades ago. So the reality here is that very little innovation has taken place in this sector. Okay, similarly, Malaysia populations grow to 33.2 million people in 2022, which is in line with the steady positions global trend that has been forecast to continue growing to a projected populations of 41 million in 2040. This is based on the Department of Statistics Malaysia's 2022 data. And this implies that the food productions will need to increase in order to meet our future needs. So McKinsey 2020 conducted a survey, also found that response to COVID-19 have actually speeded the adoptions of digital technology by several years, all right? And many of these changes will be here for long haul. In order to stay competitive in this new business and economy environment, all the sectors recognize digital technology strategy important as a critical component of business sustainability. This also including agriculture sector. So indeed, the digital agriculture revolutions can provide the solutions to the problem of feeding the world sustainably in future. So digital technology have enormous power to change the way farmers grow food in the future. For instance, in a case in Africa, where farmers struggle in harsh environment to grow crops with irrigations as efficiently as possible, the sensor can be used to measure soil moisture to assist with farm decisions. A simple digital devices also can be used in helping to grow more food with less water, which will be helping to overcome the community conflicts over water. For the large farm area, drones can be used to spray pesticide to minimize the human resource dependence work in the farm. And the digital technology can bring the agricultural economy to the next level, all right? So especially during COVID-19 pandemic, the highly concerning many people is the possible food shortage. I believe everyone, including myself, also have that kind of feeling. Therefore, this pandemic provides an opportunity to learn more about vulnerabilities in our food system in order to identify necessary investment and reform that would further strengthen the resilience of the sector to range for future challenges. So it will be particularly important to understand the factors that enable some farming business to adapt their business model quickly enough to avoid the most negative consequences. So let me share with you the initiative that have been taken by Malaysian government. In fact, the agriculture sector has been trusted as a potential driver of sustainable long-term economic growth and shared prosperity. Hence, agriculture sector gets a boost under Malaysia's Shared Prosperity Visions 2030, which has been presented in Figure 1. All right. So based on this Shared Prosperity Visions, Guiding Principle 15, sovereignty and sustainability that emphasize promoting the use of technology in agriculture activity. So this also forming the Strategic Trust 2, which is put under the key economy growth area, and high value farming is the key focus in that under this Strategy Trust 2. It's developed for the Enable 6, we can see that also emphasizing in the big data to accomplish the Shared Prosperity Vision Initiative and achieve the main objective development for all together. All right, so this figure 1 without the Shared Prosperity Visions 2030 framework to better understand the research relevance with the Malaysia government policy is actually needed. To further reduce the devastating impact felt by the agriculture sector, Malaysian government was revisiting strategy on agriculture in the 12th Malaysia Plan to formulate the national agro-food policy, and the key approach include modernizing the agriculture sector and adopting smart farming to boost and advance the sector. All right, although Malaysia's government effort to transform the agriculture sector into a dynamic, sustainable and competitive sector, the agriculture sector still face daunting challenges. And these challenges include the low level of automations, lack of industrializations, poor managerial skill, inconsistent and fragmented information, and food safety issue that cause the entire agriculture supply chain inefficient eventually. So among these issues, the agriculture sector low productivity has been one of the government's major concerns. GDP agriculture in Malaysia decreased from 24,960 million in the fourth quarter of 2021 to 22,604 million in the first quarter of 2022. This recorded almost 10% reductions. So further, agriculture only contributes 7.4% of Malaysian gross domestic product in 2020, which is still far behind service and manufacturing sector. So with this underperformed agriculture sector may due to the notable challenges in which were faced by most of the global country as well, the land area for agriculture activity is decreasing every year for housing development activities. And secondly, climate change has also shifted the harvest season and reduced the yield. Thirdly, most of the smallholders are less educated and refuse to adopt smart technology. It may due to the lacking of knowledge into this area. All right, and thus all these challenges require imperative technology solutions driven by digital technology in order to help them to increase their productivity, yield, and also try to minimize the risks that they face by the farmer. So the application of digital technology will help to identify the demand of consumer and the supply of agriculture product by farmers. So we can see application of digital technology in the agriculture supply chain will include some of the technology, for example, sensor, devices, and machine and information technology involving the entire stakeholders, started from farmers, agribusiness, distributors, and consumer market, will lead agriculture to be more efficient, productive, transparent, traceable, and profitable. So by leveraging digital technology capability and also the infrastructure support, we believe that traditional agriculture will be transformed into smart agriculture in which will reduce labor dependency, increase process efficiency, and improve the cost effectiveness. So while the agriculture sector worldwide is undergoing a transformation driven by digital technologies, the applications digital technology in Malaysia is still under research, so particularly in the agriculture sector. So these are the problems that we face in Malaysia, where most of the economic activity have shifted towards manufacturing and industrialization, where they put less focus in the agriculture sector. So that's why it caused the agriculture sector facing the barrier and challenges in adopting the latest technology. And also many digital technology attributes seems to be omitted and under research in Malaysia. So therefore, the research emerging digital technology into the agriculture sector is urgently needed in Malaysia. So in order to achieve objective of developing the digital technology for smart agriculture in this study, we propose two important underlying theory to integrate. These are grounded theory, and we also propose technology organizations environmental framework. So these two actually will be using to guide the study. All right. So we have also proposed the research aim to formulate the propositions that digital technology can be developed to improve the entire supply chain performance in the agriculture sector. So by studying the tacit knowledge, we propose a constructive paradigm to guide the researcher in understanding the reality across the various stakeholder view on the subject matter. So in making sense of the data collected in the study involving agriculture sectors, the subject interpretations will be also employed. So subject interpretations will help us to discover the true and multiple reality created by the individuals, stakeholders, and also the participants experiencing the reality happening in the agriculture sectors. So this is what we target to focus on the stakeholders, started from farmer, agribusiness owner, as well as the distributor and also retailer. So the methodology we suggest in this study is naturalistic inquiry that will be also helping the researcher to understand the stakeholders' issue and main point throughout the supply chain. So for the data collections, we employed the interview methods and also thematic analysis will be applied later on in analyzing the transcriptions content. So this is the Malaysia map where you can see the sampling frame that we selected, the state. They are identified as a smart and high value agriculture focus area under Malaysia key economic growth. All right. So there are 6 states actually has been identified as a high value agriculture focus area. Okay. And in order to achieve the research objective, where we're trying to understand how digital technology can influence the entire agriculture supply chain, we use the descriptive analysis to interpret and examine the challenges created by digital technology to the agriculture stakeholder. As well as we also are trying to investigate how digital technology can boost the supply chain in the smart agriculture. In order to meet the research objective 3, the findings from the interview will be triangulated, coded, and synthesized in the development of the comprehensive digital technology model that lead to the smart agriculture supply chain. And the digital technology model could serve as a guideline to agriculture stakeholders to boost the performance of the smart agriculture supply chain. All right, so from this actually, the research findings that we expected to bring a significant impact to the quintuple helix, namely society, academia, governments, industry, and also the environment. So from the perspective of society, with this study, actually, smart agriculture can help to improve the farmer well-being and socio-economic status of the agriculture stakeholders. And from the academia perspective, this research will contribute to the novelty of merging digital technology with the agriculture sector. In terms of from the government perspective, the digital technology model will guide the government policy, namely National Agro Policy 2021 to 2030, as well as 12 Malaysia Plan and Share Prosperity Visions 2030. And from the industry perspective, the digital technology model will provide guidelines for Malaysian agriculture stakeholders, where this includes the farming industry, agribusiness industry, logistics and distributions, retailer, and also consumer. So from the environment perspective, we hope smart agriculture would indirectly improve entire ecosystem of the quality. So in conclusions, our study expect some knowledge from the digital technology in supporting smart agriculture by looking in the digital technology attributes, as well as the challenges faced by the farmer which is created by digital technology on the entire agriculture supply chain. So drawing on the high value of smart agriculture principle, this study will conceal a comprehensive digital technology model. And we also hope that can draw connections with the challenges faced by the various stakeholders in the entire supply chain by developing the digital technology model in smart agriculture. And also we hope that the framework will guide us to expand the new advanced technology and emerging the innovation area, particularly in the agriculture sector in Malaysia. All right. So with that, I would like to end my sharing sessions. But before this, I would like to acknowledge this is a research fund that recently we obtained from Malaysia Ministry of Higher Education. So we hope that that will be a good start for us to invent and also investigate, some of the potentials area that we can help to improve the agriculture sector in Malaysia. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Tan. That was a very interesting presentation, and the result is very important as well, right? So from your presentation, I can conclude that responses to COVID-19 has accelerated the digitization, for example, in the agriculture sector, the one that you investigated, right, Doctor? And then, however, some smallholders who are less educated are still refusing to use smart technology or digital technologies. So therefore, you conducted a qualitative research to study the development of a digital technology in the agricultural sector, which you said before that it should have some beneficial impacts to the stakeholders. So yeah, it is a very important research then, Doctor. Thank you very much for your sharing. I think all of us here can learn something from that. And also, the committee also asked me if we could share your presentation slides to the participants later. Is that okay, Doctor?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right then, Doctor, thank you very much for your time. Please stay here until the question and answer session later, after this one, the last speaker.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. All right, now it's time for the last presenter, the last speaker for this session, our very own Dr. Andry Alamsyah. Okay, so Dr. Andry Alamsyah is an associate professor in School of Economics and Business, Telkom Universiti, Indonesia. He is the founder and chairman of Indonesian Data Scientist Society, an honorary member of Indonesian Blockchain Association, and also a publication committee of Indonesian Statistics Association. Dr. Andry Alamsyah is a big data and blockchain expert, in which he has published many research reports, books, and academic and professional articles in the areas of social computing, social network, blockchain technology and ecosystem, complex network or network science, big data, data science, data analytics, graph theory, disruptive innovation, technopreneurship, and business model. Wow, that was very excellent CV, Dr. Andry. Okay, so we will hear Dr. Andry's presentation shortly. I can see that there are some questions now in the chat box, but we will discuss it later after this presentation. I'm still encouraging the participants to write your question in the chat box. And then the committee will give you some reward for selected questions. All right, Dr. Andry, you may begin your presentation after your short video profile. So good morning, Dr. Andry. How are
Good
you?
morning, Dr. Happy. I'm fine, thank you. Good
Okay,
morning.
so
Thank you for having me.
okay, you're welcome, Pak Andry. So would you like to
Okay.
share your own presentation
Yes,
or?
yes. I will share my own slide.
All right.
Please bear with me. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it clearly. So you may begin your
Okay.
presentation now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning for all the audience. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. First of all, I would like to congratulate to the School of Economic and Business and also the organizing committee, Dr. Johanna and the team, yeah, for creating this wonderful platform for us to share, yeah, between the academia. To maybe we can have a collaboration later. Okay, and then this morning I would like to present our research focus on the something that we call a technology that can maybe help us to have the slight opportunity in the digital economy space, especially for Indonesia, because we know Indonesia has a big portion of young generation, maybe around 70% if I'm not mistaken. So this is a wonderful opportunity, and I'm also learn this phenomena from small medium enterprise, because as you know, many small medium enterprise doing trading on product and services, but also there are also some small medium enterprise which are fully working on the digital space, yeah, like providing product and services, but in the digital form. So this kind is a new opportunity, because as we know today, we have a lot of corporation that makes small medium enterprise, and a lot of Indonesian startup cannot compete because they don't have power, they don't have the data, they don't have a machine, they don't have the a better algorithm, which commonly have owned by a giant or big company. So my presentation is called Token Economy and Decentralized World. It is like a conceptual idea which I think is running quite faster pace right now. Yeah, token economy is how we create the asset represented by token in the digital space, and the decentralized world, and how we view the society that have power to grow, to innovate, yeah, from the bottom up, not from the top to bottom, which we might see commonly in the conventional practice of the business right now. So first thing first, I would like to thank to Prof. Hussain from the earlier presentation that show us about what we face today. We have a financial crisis happening right now, on the way, yeah. But the United Nations global crisis show that there are three things that becoming a major problem in the world right now. First is the cost of living, of rising of food price, yeah, and natural resources also, which is comes from the energy, and also the financial condition, because of many things happening, like global warming makes the farmer cannot produce, cannot harvest the product, and also war, yeah, and also we can see some of country have face bankruptcy, yeah, you say Sri Lanka, yeah. So this is the world that see by the younger generation, that something that is not really logical. The system is not work as it is supposed to be, yeah. So and then I would like to focus on what we see, especially for the young generation, is that the society today is driven by technology. Yeah, we have a concept called Society 5.0, where we use technology to make human life better. We see here we have reduce poverty, job opportunity, education for all, entrepreneurship opportunity, and also innovation, and also some precision healthcare, which is in Indonesia have a big problem in healthcare because they don't rely heavily on the technology. So some action may be accurate, or some action may be not too accurate. So we call this one is a society 5.0. And also in the industry, we face some condition, yeah, which is moving from industry 4.0. Normally we call it the cyber physical system. Yeah. Now we see that industry 5.0, which we call this one is a mass personalized industry. What is the meaning of mass personalization industry? Is that we create a massive product, yeah, a large form product, but personalized for each individual. So right now, it's the data is collected. Yeah, our data is collected by the company, and some company use it for advertising, but some other use this data for creating personalized product. Yeah, so both condition, yeah, both phenomena, yeah, triggered by the technology we call it ABCD, which is AI, artificial intelligence, and also blockchain technology, and also cloud, and also data or big data specifically. Next, this is what happened in the best practice. Yeah, many company use this tactics, yeah, use this technique or this methodology to create the mass personalization product. Yeah, e-commerce in a food delivery. Yeah, also in a rent apartment, and essentially it is a matching mechanism. So we give a recommendation. Yeah, we are given the recommendation for which product we want to consume. So if the platform cannot give us the product that we want to consume, then they don't want to be a subscriber or a customer. So how it is working is essentially is that they collect many of our data here, which is, we call it a behavior, and then we input it to model ourselves, and then they offer content or a product or services that we likely to consume. Yeah, more likely to consume. So this is the best practice right now. So in the digital economy, one of the best, successful story is recommended system or recommended engine, yeah, to accurately portray each individual behavior. And then this one coming to the sum of phenomena, yeah, where the company try to compete for collecting the data. This is some condition, some company doing a merger and acquisition, yeah, create a one big company that can attract more customer and collect more data, and create an ecosystem where all the customer cannot escape from their services, yeah, because they are offered by many new services. So basically, we get the more data, and then we get more accurate to portray one needs, yes, specific people what they need, and then more personalized, more granular, yeah, because you know with AI, with recent technology of deep learning, yeah, we can collect and process a lot of data variable, and then more likely we get more money, more monetization. So this condition come with a higher cost, of course. Yeah, maybe as you know, there are some condition where our data privacy is breached. Yeah, the data exploitation is so great that we cannot have control to our own data. This is a big concern for many stakeholder. Yeah, for example, for small medium enterprise, they cannot compete with this big company. Yeah, they don't have the machine, they don't have the platform, they don't have the money to compete. The data is already the higher data that the big company having, and then they cannot compete over that. And then come the idea of the decentralization. What is decentralization? Decentralization actually is distributed the power to the public. Yeah, we see that it's not that centralized power is bad, no, but we can see that many problem in the world, like a supply chains or something like that, it's because the central authority cannot perform as it should to be. Yeah, some central authority is corrupt, some central authority is cheating or something like that. So we prefer to use decentralization. Yeah, with the decentralization, people have more vote. You can see like a phenomena in crowdsourcing, where we give the crowd the power, yeah, to voice their concern or to voice their opinion, or in this case to create a new business opportunity. So the technology behind this one is called blockchain technology. Maybe I will explain a little bit for those who don't really get into the blockchain. Basically, a blockchain is information that distributed to all the people. So the distribution of information is secured by a cryptography. We cannot change. Yeah, we cannot change. When we write on the blockchain, we cannot change. So everyone have the same information. So when everyone have the same information, there are no problem in coordination. The largest problem is when we coordinate with another company or people, we lost a lot of time because we don't know what exactly they want. But if we have the same information from all the actors, from all the organizations, then we see one integral information. So that's why we call this blockchain is a trust machine. You can see blockchain implementation in the one cryptocurrency called Bitcoin, where we can pay or we can transfer money without the bank, without the central authority. So who are going to validate the transaction is the public. So the public compete to validate the transaction. In return, they have the reward. So that's why when we have a good behavior in the blockchain network or blockchain-based platform, we have a token of economies. We can have the reward. So this is the why it is a good technology to represent the decentralized idea. And also here we have the separation between identity and identifier. So we can create the identifier, which means we own our own data. So the data that we want to share is on our own control, not like today, where we cannot have control on our own data. And here we go to the another enabler beside the blockchain technology is the Web 3.0, which is the next evolution of the web. The difference between Web 3.0 and Web today, which is we call it Web 2.0, is that in Web 2.0 we can only create a conversation. We can pause and we can reply, but we cannot have a native layer of settlement, which is we call digital asset. Yeah, digital asset. So we can write in Web 3, and also we can execute. Yeah, we can execute. So for example, Bu Happy, if he want to send the photo to me, or he send money to me, the photo now not belong to Happy anymore, or the money is now belong to me. It's mine. The money, the money that Happy has already decreased. Yeah, my wallet is getting more money. So this is why we can use this technology to exchange asset in the digital space. This is very important to the continuation of digital economy. Today, digital economy, we use offline mechanism, payment mechanisms such as bank, which is not very efficient and cost a lot of money, and also not invite the inclusivity to the public. Yeah, because it costs a big money. Yeah. So one product for this technology, we call it crypto asset. The crypto asset is a asset in digital which is enforced by blockchain technology. The product of this crypto asset, maybe you can see that cryptocurrency. One of them is Bitcoin, and there are many variation of this money, yeah, digital money, and also assets such as maybe some of you know about NFT, non-fungible token, which is Indonesia very famous, yeah, hype. Some months ago, there's one person become a millionaire because he can sell the self-portrait to the digital space in the form of NFT, or we call it digital asset or crypto asset. So one example, this is quite interesting for us, yeah, in this research area, is we call it tokenomic. Tokenomic is how we create a token as a representation of economic activity. Yeah, this refers to a crypto asset that we can release to appeal user and also public to get involved to the company or to the project. Yeah, so this is a new science which is a combination of economic, engineering, and also psychology. As you can see on the right side, we can create a platform where we make a conversation and make a transaction using our token. So our token is, for example, the platform A, create a platform for user to like e-commerce, yeah. But the transaction inside them is using special token. The token is used by all the platform, yeah, all user in the platform, a seller, buyer, or contributor, or public. And also there are also another second market because exchange. We can also sell this token to the exchange. Public will see that with this project of this company grow very good, and then they can use this one. They can buy, and then some people will use it as an investment. So this is one of the example. But another example is that how this idea is moving very fast. In the fact that we invite the public to be an owner of our project, of our company. Sure, we have a IPO in the form of conventional company. In here, you can say ICO, initial coin